In this example, we have 6 relations graphed, and we want to determine whether each describes y as a function of x. And so just to recall that we say y is a function of x if each x coordinate in the relation matches exactly one y coordinate. And the way that we can check that graphically is using what's called the vertical line test. And the vertical line test says every vertical line that I draw should intersect the relation at most one time. So the nice thing about problems like this, there's nothing to solve. There's nothing to evaluate. We can do all of this analysis visually. So let's start with graph A. And let's think about all of the vertical lines that we can draw. Notice each of these vertical lines that I'm drawing in blue intersect the graph at most one time. So this passes the vertical line test. I'm going to call that VLT. So yes, this does describe y as a function of x. Coming over to the next one in part B, here we can see very quickly is one vertical line that I draw that intersects the graph more than once. So for example, when x is equal to 4, we see that this is matched with 2 different y coordinates. So this fails the vertical line test, which means each x coordinate doesn't have exactly one y coordinate. Some have 2. So this is not a function. And continuing on in this fashion, in C, every vertical line intersects this graph at most one time. So this is a function. This does represent y as a function of x. In D, this passes the vertical line test. So yes, this is a function. In E, we need to be careful, and in particular, what's happening at 3. Notice over here, when x is 3, the 0.31 is not included in this relation because there's an open dot. And the point at 3 minus 4 is also excluded from this relation. So these 2 points are both excluded. So in fact, the input 3, x equals 3, is not matched with anything. And that's the only vertical line that looks suspicious. All of the other vertical lines that we can draw intersect at most one point. So this does satisfy the function relationship. It's okay if I pass through open dots more than once. I'm worried about passing through points that are included in the relation, and open dots are not. And finally, in F, we see that all of these vertical lines that we draw are going to intersect the graph at most once. And there's one that we need to be careful about again, and that's this one when x is equal to minus 1. But over here, for the same reason, the point minus 1, minus 2 is excluded since that dot is open. The point minus 1, 0 is included. And so this tells me that there's only one y coordinate when x is equal to minus 1, which is good. And at any other value of x, we have no issues. So this one, too, is a function. So everything except for B did represent y as a function of x.